Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. I hope you can actually see me. This one actually has a button that goes down, but this is like the furthest down it can go, so I'm sorry. If you've never met Egyptians before, they're not really my height. They are much taller than this, but I'm kind of like on the short side of Egypt, yeah. Just in case. I'm not a benchmark, yeah. So, yeah. Hi, everyone. Hope you're having a good day. So just to get it over with, because I know it's apparently bothering a lot of you. So I don't write my name with a small d, just because when I see my name written like this is what I see. Just for that reason, yeah, I know. And this is more terrifying to me than bad grammar, so I apologize. And I'm sorry, Sophie. I don't know where she is. Yeah, I'm sorry. You're going to listen to her talk tomorrow about this. So this is something that I was constantly unconsciously doing. I didn't realize that I would be looking at very ordinary things and try to imagine them into my head, like coming to life. But for the past, now 6 years, this is all I've been doing. So I am a stop-motion animator and a maker from Cairo, Egypt. And my start in the stop-motion world was very, very accidental. It was not planned at all. In 2016, I kind of like accidentally started a project where I would show people what's inside the things they throw away in an unusual way. So in that project, I combined my love for product design and my found love for stop-motion animation and my views on consumers. And I would show people what's inside of things like this. So if any of you remember these were like the mobile pouches you wore in a belt, you know. They still exist because they are thrown away somewhere. They're not really like obsolete. They are there, and this is what's inside. Yeah, so thank you. So I studied industrial design. I really didn't know anything about animation or photography or anything. I didn't even own a camera or a tripod. I would literally just tape my phone to the table and just start moving things. I only knew like the basic idea of stop motion, where you move something, take your hand out, move something and take your hand out. And really all what I wanted to do in that project is just take all the ideas and the things I see inside my head and try to bring them into real life somehow. So how did all this start? Because it would be very weird to just wake up one day and decide, oh, I want to take products apart and turn them into characters. Be very random. So I did study industrial design in Malaysia, and I really, really loved it. I love product design until this day. I really love it. But when I got back to Egypt and I realized that most of the things we design actually end up being thrown away, especially in a country like Egypt where there's very high demand for cheap products because it fits a very important market need. Like people cannot afford to buy expensive good products. And it ends up there. So this is a photo from the entrance of a scrap market in Cairo. We call them Friday markets because they used to happen on a Friday, but it actually happens all the week. And you can find all sorts of things there. This is actually a moving train up there, and it's very okay in Egypt. And you can find all sorts of things there. You can find toys and dolls and electronics, toilets, signages, tools, all sorts of things that were actually literally thrown away in trash bins, and they are collected by the sellers there that collect them and then try to resell them in a very cheap price so that people can reuse them or repurpose them until they eventually get recycled. So when I used to see this, I used to think, I'm not sure if I want to be a product designer, really. But I did graduate, and I went back to Egypt, and I worked a bit in product design. And then when I didn't find any jobs in product design, I did graphic design. And then when I didn't really like graphic design, I did social media management. And I kept doing this. I kept just doing any job, like any opportunity that comes to Egypt, comes to me in Egypt. And I thought that's fine. I was actually happy. I thought I'm exploring, I'm learning new stuff and all this until like 4 or 5 years passed. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm stuck in that job. I'm actually very far away from what I wanted to do. And I don't really know what I love anymore. I was really, really very lost back then. And I thought maybe you're not actually gonna find like all this one passion thing that you're supposed to find to do is actually not true. And maybe I won't really find it because we don't have a lot of stuff in Egypt. So maybe it's very legit, like, what is the explanation that I am not gonna find it. But then this thought got me really excited because I thought maybe if it's not there in Egypt yet, maybe I would be the one to start it and not really just stumble upon it upon the years. So I got super excited, and I thought, and this was like a very conscious decision. Like I sat down with a pen and paper one day and I thought, okay, this needs to end now. And I started thinking, okay, what can I start in Egypt? What are things I like? What are like a job that I would think I would really excel in? What could be like the career path for me? What can be a job that can solve a problem? Because I'm a designer. And what could be something beneficial for the community? What can be something that my parents understand and they can explain to their friends? And all this sorts of stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I will never find this. I have no idea. And then I realized that this is kind of a lot of criteria to like I'm super limiting it down, but it's actually not helping at all. So I decided to just not think about all of this and just pick one thing, one criteria, and just see where I can go from there. So I decided that the most important thing for me is to do something that I absolutely love. And until this day, I think this is like, I don't know, maybe the 15th time I share my story on, like, in a talk, and I have no idea how I convinced myself that taking products apart is the thing that I absolutely love, and this is my true calling. I have no idea. I was super convinced. Like, it was just very clear to me suddenly, because back then, like the day I sat down with the pen and paper, I was sitting in an empty room with that box because we were moving houses. And I was sitting in my old bedroom in the old house, and the only thing that was not allowed in the new house was that box because it was filled of junk and things that I collect from the markets, and I was just literally sitting in front of it, screaming at me that, oh, wait a minute, this is actually what I love to do. If I would just do one thing for like the rest of my life, it would be taking products apart. And I decided to do that. I don't know how, but I did. And I got a piece of paper. I only had in that room a yellow piece of paper. Luckily, I like yellow, so it all worked out. Some people now, they ask me, like, when they see the whole series, they're like, oh, the branding was so nice. And I'm like, no, not really. That was the only thing I had, and I just took it and took photos on it. So I would pick a product and then literally take it apart. I would just make like calculated guesses, like not calculated, like educated guesses about what's inside, how it might work. I would take it apart, just try to learn more about it, and just figure, I don't know, it had really no plan at all, and it was scary, but was also kind of fun, so I did not think of anything else. I decided I'm not gonna think of how this will be a career, if my parents are gonna like understand it or not, and they really had a problem with it. So I went and I told them, like, they figured out, like, because in Egypt we do live with our parents, so it's not like I will see them in the holidays and they'll be like, oh, what are you doing with your life? It's gonna be every single day. So so when they noticed that, okay, Dina's just like sitting at home, because I left my job, I was working part-time, and the holiday in Egypt is Friday, Saturday, so on Fridays I would do this. And they noticed that, okay, what are you doing? And I'm like, yeah, I decided that I'm gonna take trash apart and just like, I don't know what's gonna happen, yeah. And they always question, like, oh, what are you going to do? Like, what is the job? What is the career? Where are you heading? What is this? What do we At some point they asked me, okay, so we went out with some friends and they asked me, what does Dina do? And we didn't know what to answer. And I told them, just have fun with it. Just one day tell them I'm an engineer, one day tell them I'm a doctor. You can tell them I'm an astronaut and just like go wild and see what they will say. They were not convinced, yeah. Until one weekend. So I would do this every weekend, and I did this for a year and a half. And at the very first weeks, I started taking apart this shaver, and I found so many pieces inside, and I was like, oh my God, this looks like a puzzle to me, like it's a product design puzzle. And I really wanted to show it not just as a photo, just a static photo, but I wanted to kind of show how all the pieces come together. And I remembered this thing called stop motion. Like, I've seen some stop motion movies and I know the concept. So I got this, not even a stop motion app. I didn't even think there would be a stop motion app. I got a slideshow app. And then I took all like 500 photos of this and I made this 1 minute long video. And I thought like, wow, I made magic. And then I tried to put it on Instagram. I decided to document the whole project on Instagram. And back then, Instagram only allowed 15 seconds. So when I tried to put it, it won't. So I went on Google and I wrote something like, how to make stop motion video faster. And then I read about something called frame rate per second. I did not even know what frame rate was. And then I learned that, okay, so in stop motion, the animators animate on something called twos, which means that for every 1 second duration of a movement, like if I want to move my hand from here to here in 1 second, then I will take 12 frames, and each frame I will double twice. So I end up with a 24 frame animation. And I was like, oh, okay, there's like a lot to learn about stop motion and things like that. So I decided to do it every single weekend. It was too much fun. And I compiled all these videos under this one project that I call Tinker Friday. I put it up on Instagram, and I just made my account public because I came back from Malaysia, and I thought, I miss seeing like a lot of diverse people, so maybe on the internet I can meet different people. And it did, like, at first it attracted like a small audience that would just ask me, that are like waiting every Friday what I will take apart and what will I do and what kind of sort of like junk products are in Egypt, and they would tell me about the junk that they have in their country, and we'd talk about trash, and it was really, really awesome. Yeah, and yeah, I kept making them because they kept telling me also like they never saw all the things that are inside their products, even the things that they use on a daily basis, like a watch or things like that. So I decided to name it, and I asked them name my project because I'm really bad at naming things. And someone said Tinker Project. And then another one said explosive Fridays, and I really didn't want to put my name next to the word explosive. Yeah. I already do a lot of paperwork to get visas, so this would be terrible. Yeah. So I decided to mix both, and I called it Tinker Friday. And then, yeah, I made over like 35 videos, and oh, that's so loud, sorry. And they were very kind of basic at first. Like they would be just a flat lay, and I would start seeing the faces in all the pieces, and it really, really gradually, like, my skills really developed throughout like the year and a half. I did not like start with like massive skills at all, and I could see like I'm a designer, so I can see this, and I know that it doesn't look like a high quality video, but I decided I don't really care about that. I kept telling myself this, like, done is better than perfect, and I just want to have fun with it and create things and see all these ideas in my head. And they slowly started to like get better and better and better and more detailed, and I would have like a storyline. Things would be like more 3D-ish. I would do more tricks. And every week, like, I would learn something new about stop motion. So, thank you. So that weekend, I saw a video about Disney using something called a multi-plane machine, multi-camera machine, where they would animate everything on a separate layer, and then the camera would be on the top, and it kind of added depth. I didn't really have any of this, but I wanted to try out the glass. So I just got a piece of glass from our living room table, and I started. I just used whatever I had around, like Pringle cans and toilet paper rolls. And at that point, I was really getting into stop motion. So I borrowed my friend's camera for a whole year. She was really nice. Yeah, and I really just had fun with it. And I started learning to try and learn more about the animation principles, that there are actually animation principles and principles of light, and there was like a lot to learn. It was so exciting. So this is the first animation I did, the last animation I did in that series. I did this in 2018, and it's kind of the first memory of something that I took apart, like as a kid. I remember I always wanted to know how the dolls close their eyes, and I would pull their eyes out, and I remember seeing my mom's face screaming. It's like, ah, ah. And this is what's inside my doll head. Thank you. So I kept getting really good at stop motion till I now can do this. So I did this. This was actually for my first ever sponsor. It's a company called iFixit in US, and they're kind of like a Wikipedia for how to fix your stuff. So they're really, really cool, and I was very happy that I would get to work with them, and their all their work ethics and their goals all align with mine. So it was a really nice client to work with. And I did this in 2020, and by the end of the year, I still wanted to do more with it, and I did an AR, limited edition AR print of it. I printed out only 50, and they sold all. And I also won the Vimeo Best of the Year for 2020 as well, so it was really, really exciting. Yeah. And I have thankfully moved. So I've worked, like, the start of my work was in a lot of setups, really bad setups, because I was working from my home. At the early beginnings, I was working from a toilet. So I would actually sit on the toilet and put a table in front of it, because it's a really small space and you can control the light. So if you're not using like good lights, you can really manage the light there. And I did all sorts of crazy stuff, but last year, I finally got a studio, and I have a stop-motion studio in Egypt now. Yeah, I really cannot believe that I am a stop-motion animator, or I get to do this, or that now I have a stop-motion studio. And I would tell you a little story, a very embarrassing story. So growing up, we did not listen to much in Egypt. So we only knew of Michael Jackson, Spice Girls, and Backstreet Boys. And then I have an older brother, so I had an advantage that my brother can go like to music shops and buy postcards and cassette tapes and things like that. While my friends, not all of them had this, they were not allowed, although it was just 2 buildings away from our house, so it was very accessible, but no one had this advantage but me. So my brother came and he told me, Dina, we're gonna start a business together. So we're gonna buy all these postcards, and I think they were like half a pound, Egyptian pound back then, and we're gonna go to school and we're gonna sell them for £1. So it's like, I'm in, because we were planning to like save all this, and at the end of the week buy twice the candy that we can buy. I was like 9, 10 years old back then. So I go to school and I tell my friends, and they get really excited. They're like, oh my God, I have to have this. But my friend tells me, but I only have half a pound. I'm like, okay, I'll make you a discount. Okay. And then I went to my brother at the end of the week, and I was so happy. I sold them all. And when I told them I only sold them for like half a pound, which was what I already bought them for, he never did business with me again. Yeah. So I'm a single owner of a business. So I really never imagined that I would be doing this one day, but this is like a very early lesson I learned in life, that profit is also important as much as sales. Yeah. So 6 months in of doing all these little animations, I was getting broke, and I really had no other job. I was like freelancing graphic design a bit on the side, but other than that, really not doing much. Until I started getting companies sending me, and they're telling me, would you do stop-motion videos for us? And I thought, yes, I need the money. But I really never thought of myself as a stop-motion animator, and I now see that I really, something that really stopped me was having like to figure out what my title is. Because I thought, okay, stop motion is something that I'm doing for fun. I'm not really an animator. I never studied animation. I'm not really that good. And I'm also not really a product designer, because I'm not actually making things. I'm breaking them. So it doesn't really count. And I just didn't know what to do. Like, should I really open that company, like open an agency? I also didn't want to have like a big agency with employees, until I stayed in that like also like a lost phase for a while, until I decided, I was like, why do I need to figure it out and like really have one title where I can meet people and tell them, oh, I'm this, or oh, I'm that. I can just do whatever I want. So I can do product design if I want to, or I can be an animator if I want to, or I can, next year maybe I'll learn cooking and be a chef, why not? Like, who cares? So I decided to do that. And when I decided to just ignore all of these thoughts, my work really completely changed. So the next month, the first thing I did was, I've always wanted to make a small version of the Air Dancer. And I didn't want to fabricate a new one. I wanted to make it out of trash. And I did. And it was the best thing I ever made till this day. And I made a YouTube video about it. I shared like how I did it, how I fixed all the parts to make it work. And I was, in fact, that happy with it. I still am. And I thought, okay, it got some views, so I thought, okay, I'll send it like more to magazines. And I thought, should I? Because I always send to magazines and they never really reply, and it's a bit depressing. And then I thought, it's not really that much effort, so I'm just gonna send it anyway and do my part. Never mind what's gonna happen, or so I did send it to. I sent it to MakeZine and so many others, and Make Magazine. They put it in their newsletter, and thankfully, Mark from Beyond Telegrand, and he's also the co-founder of this conference. He saw it, and he sent me saying that, Dina, I've checked your work. Do you do public speaking? I'm like, not really, but why not? He's like, yeah, you can come to Germany and do this. I was like, I'll come. You want to bring me to Germany? I'll go. Why not? And I did, and I'm so happy that this happened because this opened so many opportunities for me. And for the first time, I get to meet so many creatives doing so many different things, and from that, I got so many other opportunities, and I got to see lots of possibilities for my work. So maybe I would one day do a short movie. Maybe I can do a print. Maybe I can sell products. Maybe I can do this and this and that. And it kind of like confirmed this idea that I already have, that I can actually do whatever I want. So it's good. And this is what I do. So I'm not just a stop motion animator. I do other stuff as well. So it might be that I turn one animation into a physical thing, so I really like moving things in general. And this is, I did this last year. It's a high machine, like high machine. So you wave hi to it, and then it spells out hi to you. Mm-hmm. And I actually did this with a company called Artgineering. They do the little kit inside, and they're trying to make it easier for artists to move their work. So it doesn't have any coding at all. You just plug stuff, and you can make your art come to life. And this whole new view of products and like things really changed my work, because I was thinking, if I'm gonna be a stop motion animator, then I should be a stop motion animator. So I should learn how to draw, I should do 2D animation, I should do like all the types of animation, so like claymation, paper animation, I should be like good at everything. And I can be, but like for example, I enjoy watching claymation, but I hate touching the clay. I really hate it, and it gets dirty super, super fast. Yeah, so I decided, no, I'm just gonna focus on what I want to do and kind of not forget that I was in fact a product designer, and this is not something that I just like throw away and now I'm just a stop motion animator. But the more that I saw that actually, my stop motion, my product design background is very visible in the work that I do. So my now really my stop motion work now is very, very different. This is an idea I did recently for Vice, and it was so fun to work with all the stuff that I actually have collected from trash bins and friends' houses that I raided. So, for example, there was in 2021, I think, or 2020, there was a stop-motion animator called Kevin Perry. He does really, really cool animations and videos in general on Instagram, and he made this challenge where he would pick a theme for himself every single month, and he picked an emoji every single month as a theme. And for February, it was a book, and he would only create videos for that theme. And he invited other artists to join, and I thought, okay, that's fun, let's do something with books. And I knew that I wanted to animate them, and I kind of, decided I want to just be animating objects. I don't want to be doing any other type of specific, like stop motion, but also just objects. So it's a very, very narrow thing. But I want to be animating them in ways that no one has seen them before. So I made this.
Once upon a time, in a land far, far away.
So I wanted to do a talking book, but I didn't want it to do it in the regular way where I would think that people would just stick different mouth shapes on it and make it like lip sync and talk. When I look at products, I actually don't see, like when I look at this, I don't really see a book, but I see all sorts of things. So I kind of like disassemble it in my head, and I kind of see it going back on the assembly line, like reversing back until it's like its raw form. So I don't just see a book, I see some papers that were once like maybe tree bark and cotton, or like I see the ink, I see the words, I just see the letters, I see some leather pieces, ribbons, maybe threads, glue, I see all sorts of things. And now that I see it more than just a book, now I have a lot more to work with than just a book. So I thought, okay, now that I have all of these pieces to work with, let's start with paper, what I can do with paper. And I thought,
a talking book.
yeah, I wanted to make a talking book. So I thought that you can fold paper in origami. And I thought, what happens if you fold many papers? And then I found the world of book folding. So I went to, this is the Azbakiya market in Cairo. They sell used books there. And I got so many books. They were the ruined copy of Da Vinci Code, really badly translated in Arabic. And they were gonna like just throw them away. So I got them all, and I got like 14 books, and I started folding them. I learned how it's done. I made all the pattern, and then I started folding them all, and got my friends and family to help out, and that was the last time they ever helped me out. Because each book took 4 hours just to mark the template on, and then 4 hours to fold. So it was a lot of work. Yeah, but it was a really, really cool theory to just like, and I had no idea what will it actually look like at the end. I had no idea, but it was really fun to just experiment with it and find out. And I continued doing this. So I wanted just to animate all kinds of products, but in new ways. So I actually did this one for a client. It was a commission by an insurance company. Yeah. And I continued doing this even more. Like I wanted to animate puppets, but I didn't really want to fabricate puppets and animate them. So I made this. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
In every job that must be done, there is an element of fun. You find the fun, and snap, the job's a game.
A job is a job.
Yeah. I kind of treat my animations as therapy. You know, when you write, like, you do a brain dump on a paper and then you tear it all up and suddenly you feel okay. I do this with animations, but it takes a month to make and finally feel okay. So this is like a very inconsistent series that I make with glue objects. And this is the second one I did. I did this in 2019, and I called it When I Try to Put My Life Together. So let's see. Sorry. I did all the sound effects too. So it's a sad little loop. I felt that whenever like finally things are starting to like come together and I absolutely know what I want to do, it all just fell apart. And I thought 2019 was really, really bad, the worst year until 2020 happened. I rushed to judgment, yeah. That's the third one, and this one was actually a commission. So I made this for Adult Swim. They sent me, like, Dina, would you like to do an ID? I was like, yes, and I already have an idea. And the first talk we had, I pitched the idea, and they were like, go for it, do whatever you want to do. And I'm now like in a very lucky position that I'm very picky with my clients, and I don't just do anything. I only do the work that I want, and that will make me happy, because this is why I started this whole thing from the very beginning. And this is the process. It was super fun to work on this one and trying to act it out and try to figure out how would a tube actually move. And it's been so good. I have no idea what's coming next, and I kind of get now excited about it. I used to stress out a lot, and in 2020 I really panicked, and I did not have any jobs for 6 months. And at a certain point, I was actually going to start another agency with a friend. I don't know, like doing real commercial animation work, until I realized, oh my God, I'm panicking and I'm spiraling down. And again, I go back and I try to remember what led me through all of this path. That my number one criteria was that I wanted to do something that would make me happy. So now, the secret to, I think, to all of this, to really figuring it out, is to be very comfortable with not knowing what's going to happen. So I don't really have any plans. I kind of know why I want to do things, and based on that, I take actions right now. So I don't do like, in 5 years, I want to be, I have no idea, because every time I put a plan, my plans really suck, and they're really, really small compared to what actually happens. Like, I never planned to be here. I actually did not know 2 weeks ago that I will be here, but it's super fun. And I just keep it this way. I want to, like, now when I have no idea, like I have no jobs, I'm like, oh, exciting. So something really good is going to happen, and it's going to be like big and surprise me. And I would think, oh, I never imagined that this would happen. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Dina, like to join me?
You're still going to ask me? I thought.
Yeah, that's okay. Just just briefly
I
because
was trying to escape
that's
this.
wonderful.
Okay.
I always get so fascinated and so moved by the story, like where you start somewhere and then you kind of slowly just work your way hard and you believe in yourself and you kind of stick to your principles, and then this is how you get. There was one interesting question that came up. I'm kind of running out of devices here
I'm
because
right.
this one is out of charge. Was one of them? I love stop motion animations. Do you have some tips how one could start doing this without any experience and any equipment? I've been wanting to make a stop motion animation game for years, but never started.
I know exactly what you need to do because I did that. Okay, so do not start with a big thing. If you want to start really small. Even if it looks bad, that's really fine. So it's better to do very short, like maybe 5-second animations and do like 60 of them, than do 1-2 minute long animation. Because if you have this, like everyone starts with like a short movie, but it's a really big goal and you have to learn a lot of things in stop motion, and you kind of like try. It's a really steep learning curve, and then you get really discouraged that you're not where you want to be because the goal is that far. So it drags, you kind of stop, and like months pass, but then you summon up all the energy and the motivation to really learn a lot of stuff, but still the goal is really far away. And this applies to actually any skill. And then it drags again. So, but if you do like very short and many animations, you have a small goal and you reach that, and you're more motivated to continue with this and this and this, and you take it step by step.
Yeah, and I think it's also a matter of just practicing. So there is this famous 10,000 hours rule by Malcolm Gladwell, right? So you just need to commit to dedicating. If you really like doing something, dedicate, because you will enjoy it, hopefully. If you do like doing something, then you're probably going to enjoy 10,000 hours doing that. And then by the end of it, you will be in a place where you can feel comfortable with that.
Yeah, you will never do stop motion if you don't love it, because it's like physically torture.
It just, yes, I can imagine.
No insane person would do that to themselves.
I just imagine that every now and again, it doesn't matter what you're doing, if it's design, development, stop motion, graphics, it doesn't matter. There are always these people, they seem to be doing absolutely incredible work. Like in anything really, they are, and you look up to them. How can you? Wow, this is just absolutely incredible. Sometimes you would get this thought that, I would never be able to do that.
They
right?
would. Yeah. They are.
It just takes
everyone can
time
do
because
this.
they were in the same position as well at some point.
And regarding the tools are not really that important. Like if you have a phone, you can pretty much
I have to admit, sorry to interrupt you, your prototyping set for the last animation was absolutely incredible.
Which one of them?
The one where you had the rocking.
Oh, yeah. That was so fun. I tried to find a way to do it, and then I had this exercise ball, and I thought I would sit on the exercise ball and try to do this, but I felt like I'm glad I don't have this even on tape, because it was so bad. It was such a bad idea. And then I thought, okay, I'll find these horses on springs and playgrounds, but I didn't find any in Cairo. Like I went to 5 different playgrounds to find them.
That's research, right?
Yeah, I didn't find them until like I was going through Instagram, and my friend was playing with her niece on this yellow horse, and I sent her, I said, can I come borrow this yellow horse? I promise it's real work, and it's a really big client.
Oh, it did work, right?
Yeah, it did work, and she like invited me in, and it was like a fun day. Yeah. Her niece walked in like when I was doing that, and she stood there like, she's like, what's happening? Who's this on my yellow horse? But she didn't cry. Yeah. One
thing I'm interested in. So you've just been doing this on your own. Or you've been collaborating with other people, right?
Yeah.
But you've been doing this on your own, kind of starting off, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to try that, and then you get the client. Would you, if let's say there was an offer, join this agency or this big design studio company or anything like that, would it be an option for you, or do you feel like you want to work alone?
No, not really. I would only do it if just for the experience, because I'm just learning on my own, and we don't have any other one to learn from in Egypt. So if I get a really maybe like Leica, I would go do maybe some time there just to learn, like soak up everything from there, learn all sorts of things that they do. But other than that, no, I really don't want to. I want to be working on my own ideas, whatever they are.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so fascinating to me to just think about that, because I remember when I was coming to the web, I had this idea of I'm going to publish something. And at the time, I was obsessed with football, and I saw this website, which was a big deal for me, like Yahoo in 1998, early 1998. Yahoo front page was like, wow, you can access it from anywhere in the world. So I felt like if I do that, but for football news website in my city where I'm living, I'm going to get the same attention that Yahoo gets. Right? That didn't happen. I think I got maybe 43 visits within 2 years. I mean, they had a lot of
That could be
frames.
a lot.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe they were just
Maybe.
accidentally wrong typos in the URL or something.
Or maybe
But it's a-
Italy, like
It's a
logging
slow
in
project.
from
right?
another
It's kinda-
computer.
Kind of
Yeah.
moving forward. I had 43 issues and 43 visitors. Maybe it was my father, by the way. Maybe I should
be,
share.
could be, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know at this point. So that didn't work for me. But at this moment that you can actually go ahead and publish on the web and it becomes universal and accessible to everybody, that was magical. And at the same time that you could just sit in Cairo and just follow your passion to just put things apart and put it on Instagram, of course. And then,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just curious, how did the first steps go? So very often it's just friends who would say, oh, this is neat. And then somebody must have then noticed and then bookmarked and reshared, and then it kept going.
Yeah, I really have no idea, because I studied in Malaysia, so I didn't really have a lot of friends in Egypt as well, like this creative friends. So I didn't have this network. I really did not. I only had the people I met on Instagram. And it kind of grew, like someone would send it to someone, then magazines, like online magazines, started to write about it. My first client ever was BBC Arabic, because they interviewed me and they thought, oh, we also want like an intro for our show, and since you know Arabic and English, maybe you can animate something for us. And I did a really terrible, like now I think it's really terrible. Oh my God, how can I do this? But I kind of just grew from that. I would get really small jobs at the beginning, and I would do them anyway to like put my portfolio together. But I always had in mind that I want to do work that is me, because I've been doing this for a year and a half for the Tinker Friday project, and I know how like happy I was doing that, and I wanted that. But it's the real world, and I want to get a studio, I want to get equipment and all this. So I decided that I'm gonna put this in mind and kind of have a vague plan that first year I'm just gonna accept any job I can get, because I can also learn and get experience on doing like stop motion in general. Then as the years pass, I wanna do like 90% work I don't want to do, like work that pays the bills, and then 10% work that is me, and then slowly tip the scales as the years pass. So I took it gradually as well. I wasn't like, no, I'm not gonna do any job. I'm just gonna, like step by step. And now it's 100% work that I love.
Oh, that's wonderful. So, Dina, is there anything that you still would like on your agenda, what you would like to take apart?
Oh yeah, I have so much. I want to take apart a fridge.
A fridge?
Yeah, and if
Like going, like scaling up.
Yeah, I want to take apart big stuff. Maybe a car.
A car?
Yeah, I know I'm in Germany, so yeah.
Okay, a car. So do you think that at some point you'll go into this, scale of airplane?
Could be, yeah, why not?
Would you? I mean, I don't know how many months it would take.
Why
'Cause,
not?
I mean, I really like
I
this.
have the time. I'm a very
Yeah,
patient
I
person.
like this grid that you have with all these little elements perfectly aligned and all.
Yeah.
I think you can.
Yeah. It is very meditative to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It must be taking
Yeah, like I
ages.
never allow clients to come to the shoots because they just get very irritated and they're like, oh my God, it's been 30
Well, you also
minutes.
have very creative
and
prototyping
Dina
sets.
just did this. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool. All right, well, I'm very, very excited to
Yeah.
see what is there for you in the future. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Dina,
me
for being
too.
with us.
Thank you. Thank you.